Kharaj. Now what's very interesting is this. The Quran is mentioning this. When Aus and Kharaj, the Arab tribes, are fighting, their allies are fighting with their patrons. So Jews are killing Jews. And when Jews are killing Jews, they are disobeying the commandments of Allah given to them that Jews should not fight Jews or kill each other. But something very interesting would happen. When some Arab tribes would capture Jews, the Jews combine to ransom Jewish captives. Because there's another commandment also, the Mosaic law, which says, when Jews are taken prisoners, then it's the duty of a Jew to ransom. So this is very strange. Jews are killing each other, and when some of them are captured, they help each other to ransom. It's possible, and maybe this is manipulated, that the Jew consider the Arab inferior, and therefore it's not proper for an Arab to have a Jew as a slave. There's something very subtle in it. So they will see to it that one Jew is not a slave of an Arab, but they are killing each other.
My Jew enemy.
Yes. So Allah is saying, you obey one part of the law, by ransoming Jews, and you disobey the other one by killing each other. And so the message is, if the Jews are doing this with the revelations of Allah, well, it's almost telling us Muslims now, we cannot obey one part of Quran and then say, oh, this other part is too hard, it is forbidden. Now, I'm sorry that I just confined on the historical aspect, but it now...
It's even clear in Surah 15,
it
says, woe to the dividers who take part of the Quran and leave the other part. Making the Quran go with the wishes.
And the message,
total thing or not?
And the message is very clear with this proof Ustaz brought for us. I'm sure this Iranian troops and this Iraqi troops, when there's a lie, they make wudu and they pray. So they follow a part of the Quran. Then when it's time to fight, like the Polisario and the Moroccan, then they kill. Now Islam is a total way of life. You cannot just choose this when it's necessary for it and then disregard something. Well, I'm sorry, that's taking so much time.
Well, that's great. Okay, 88. They said, our hearts are shielded. Rather, it is a curse. You see, they don't accept Quran, in other words. Our hearts are shielded. Rather, it is a curse from God because of their disbelief that prevents them from ever believing. Thus, when a scripture came to them from God, and even though it confirms what they have, and even though they used to predict its coming to the idolaters, when their own predictions came true, they disbelieved. Thus does God's curse affect the disbelief. I think it's all clear. 90. Miserable indeed is what they sold their souls for, rejecting these revelations of God out of sheer resentment that God should bestow His blessings upon whomever He wills. Consequently, they incurred wrath upon wrath. They will suffer humiliating retribution. There may be some people who will not, they look at the Quran, there's nothing wrong with it. There is even physical evidence that it is a divine scripture, but they will not accept it, just out of resentment that it's coming from the Arabs maybe, or for some other reason. So what they do is they're really destroying their own soul, destroying themselves. 91. When they are told, believe in these revelations of God, they say, we believe only in what was revealed to us. They thus reject all subsequent scriptures, even though they know it is the truth, and even though it confirms their own scriptures. Say, why did you slay God's prophets in the past if you were really believers? See, they say we believe on our revelations. It didn't come to us. But then the question here is, you really didn't. When you had your own scripture, without the Quran, you didn't follow it. And they even killed their prophets. This touches a nerve.
So I just want to mention something on that. It's very interesting. This one says they killed the prophet 91 in 87 messenger.
Yes.
I found out that this is not correct counting, but what I was able to get, there are around 9 verses. I know there might be more about killing the prophets and messengers. Out of these 9, 3 mentioned messenger and 6 prophets. It's
Very accurate.
very interesting. In other words, it's not just prophets, but some of these prophets were actual messengers. And certainly there are fewer messengers and prophets go.
Well, then Mahmoud did some thinking about the killing of Moses, probably. The killing of Moses and Aaron. It's a possibility that they killed them. But there are also many other prophets in the children of Israel that they killed, prophets like Isaiah, Ezekiel, I don't know which ones were killed by them, but many of the prophets were killed by them.
Jeremiah was killed.
Jeremiah.
On the way to Egypt. Also.
Yeah.
Zechariah also. Zechariah was killed. Yeah.
Yeah.
The uncle of Jesus, yeah. The high priest.
Well, John the Baptist was killed.
Anyway, we were discussing this at length the other day, and my thoughts about this are that Satan, initially, when Moses was sent to the children of Israel, either you, Adam, give the lesson or me. You can't have 2 teachers. When Moses came, Satan directed his attention to have them desecrate the prophets and the messengers. Have no respect for Moses. They don't, even now. If you watch the 7th Commandment, the movie, they just so. But this technique backfired on Satan because they ended up worshiping God. Now, later on, of course, the scholars came and they invented the Mishnah and the Gemara and the Talmud. But that was something that Satan did later. And then when he came to the Christians, he went the other way. He made them idolize the prophet too much, worship him like a god. So that was very successful. And he did it better with the Muslims by making it subtle. He followed the same technique that succeeded with the Christians, but it's very subtle. Yet the Muslims are exactly like the Christians. They really idolize Muhammad exactly the way the Christians idolize Jesus. I mean, you tell them hadith is no good and their hair stands up. They're very, very emotional about it, as you know. To the extent that they don't believe the Quran. The Quran says it's complete, it is perfect, it shall be the only source, but they cannot stand there. So the initial attempt of Satan was to make the Jews disrespect their messengers of God. Where are we now? 92?